Well, also in Washington, D.C. today, it is a celebration of Kenya's culture. For the second week now, thousands have flocked to the Smithsonian Folk Festival near the U.S. Capitol, which features China and Kenya this year. To tell us more about the significance of the festival to the East African nation, we have with us Kenya's Cabinet Secretary of East African Affairs, Commerce and Tourism, Mrs. Phyllis Kandie. Madam Secretary, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you so
What
much.
a great opportunity. The country being displayed right here in Washington, D.C. What does this mean to Kenya?
It's very, very important for us in Kenya because it has given us the opportunity to bring Kenya to Washington, D.C. and to the American people.
Okay.
And for the American people to interact with Kenyans has been very important for us.
Okay, this is, it wasn't such a long time, but it's a really significant time, maybe about 2 weeks. What have you been able to showcase?
We've been able to showcase our culture, our sport, our food, which really has raised a lot of interest. And what we do in terms of, our tourism, our parks, we brought our rangers with us just for them to explain what they do in terms of anti-poaching activities. This has been very, very important for us.
Yes. And Kenya for years has been like the most important tourism destination across the continent. But lately, some people are being a little uncomfortable because of this attacks by Al-Shabaab terrorists, but also constant advisories from the U.S. and other Western nations. What is this doing to you, to your ministry, to your efforts as a tourism minister?
Yes, lately we have, and I can say over the past 8 months or so, let's say 6 months, we faced a challenge in terms of the terrorism attack in Nairobi and various consequential attacks after that. We've had, again, negative travel advisories that has come through, from mostly the Western countries. But it's not the first time that we're receiving travel advisories. It's been there from time to time, and they normally lift them up. So this is not the first time we're receiving those travel advisories. But nevertheless, yes, this has hurt the tourism sector a lot. It has led to loss of jobs. And that's why I'm here and with my delegation so that we can come and explain ourselves that really the situation on the ground is not as bad as what has come out.
Okay, now that is a very curious statement. It's not as bad. But how do you reassure this person who is watching news on CNN and other places and seeing all these explosions and people being taken to hospitals? How do you reassure those who want to visit Kenya that it's okay to come there?
First of all, these terrorist attacks, apart from the one that happened at the mall, really have been in isolated areas. So they're not on the tourist routes or in the tourist hotels per se. Secondly, the Kenyan government has taken up, to invest in the security sector. In fact, as we speak, this year we're going to spend 12% of our budget on security. So there's so much going in there, beefing up the police. We are recruiting new police recruits. We're buying, or hiring helicopters, vehicles for the police, so there's a lot of investments going in there.
Very quickly, talk about investments. Yes. Something else is coming up here in Washington?
Yes, next week we have an investment conference here in Washington, again, to talk about so much that's going on in Kenya in terms of investment opportunities that is available. Kenya is the hub to East Africa. And we came in to showcase not only the opportunities in terms of visiting Kenya as a tourist, but there's so much that for investors who would want to invest in Africa and Kenya in particular, so that they can access the rest of East African region.
Okay, we'll be looking out to see how you package this product.
Thank you.
Sounds very enticing, but you got to make sure we like it.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary.
Thank you.
Well, Mrs. Phyllis Kandie is Kenya's Cabinet Secretary of East African Affairs, Commerce and Tourism.